In 1986, the world was given an introduction to what would be called one of the greatest platformer series on the NES. That series' name would be known as Castlevania. Back in the days, Castlevania was held its name amongst the highest of the gaming giants like Mario, Zelda, and even Mega Man.
Yet, nowadays, if you follow even the littlest bit of gaming news, you know that Konami, the company behind Castlevania and many other titles, has been sucking, like, really hard lately. And it's sad to see this once gaming legend of a company go so south so quick.
But recently, something amazing has happened. Simon Belmont and Richter Belmont have been announced as fighters for the newest Smash game, and Sakurai was able to take everything we loved about them from the past and fit them all into a fighter that screams Castlevania. And with this recent announcement, I have been having an itch to go back and play my personal favorite Castlevania games, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And since it is the month of horror, what better game to make a review on?
And though I usually play tie-in games, horror is my jam, and I have a soft spot for the Hammer Films aesthetic of the Castlevania series, even though I haven't actually played many of them.
And with that, let's get this review started. Join us as we take a look at Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night is a sequel to the Japanese-only release Castlevania Rondo of Blood that was released for the PC Engine. It is hailed as one of the best 2D side-scrolling Castlevania games out there, and North America never got it. Instead, we got a pseudo-version called Castlevania Dracula X, which takes some of the same style choices, but the game as a whole is completely different.
Anyways, yeah, Symphony of the Night takes place immediately after the events of Rondo of Blood, even starting off with the final battle of that game. To then it cuts a few years in the future where, after Dracula's defeat, the castle is once again risen in the country.
Richter Belmont had gone and investigated the reappearance of the castle, but since his departure, he has never returned. A worried Maria Reynard has gone in search of her mentor Richter, and someone else has also decided to investigate the castle.
And that man is Alucard, our main character for the duration of the game, and of course, son of the late Dracula. Alucard had put himself in a deep sleep so that he may quell the dark powers within him. However, after his father's castle rises once more, he awakens and decides to look into the castle's sudden return and destroy it.
Through here, the main focus is to traverse through the castle and discover the secrets it holds. As you progress further into the castle, Alucard encounters the missing Richter, who now proclaims to be the master of Castlevania, the name of Dracula's castle. And from here, the plot is kinda laid out. Alucard decides to stop the turned Belmont and, if he needs to, take care of him so that the castle will vanish as it should have before.
Being completely honest, in the early days of gaming, no one was really playing Castlevania games for their plots.
And yeah, there are some twists and turns, which will be covered later, but the plot is standard Castlevania. Run through a variety of areas until you reach the end point, and yeah, that's kind of it. I wish there was more, but nah. Symphony of the Night, unlike other series that were moving to the newest consoles at the time, decided to stick with the 2D sprite-styled graphics for its art style. And God bless that it did, as Symphony of the Night has some of the best sprite work that I've ever seen in a video game, and it also gives more life to the environment as well. To use this as an example, the 3D Castlevania games on the N64 at the time were bland and really uninspiring, but in Symphony of the Night, there's little movements and secrets to be found in every nook and cranny. Heck, even some of the environment is interactive with the gameplay.
I mean, okay, look at this dumb bird boss. I didn't even focus on the boss half the time because there's this beautiful painting in the background. In retrospect, there's no real reason for it to be there, but the addition of it being there gives just that little bit of life to the environment. Oh, I love little stuff like this so much!
I think something that I love is just how much fun the team had with the castle's interior as well. We aren't just going through rooms of the same medieval stuff all the time. Nah, instead we got like ice caverns and libraries and a mother effing coliseum. Like, what? How do you fit that inside a castle? Look, the point is, this game takes place in one castle and the setting and environment are just like the days of old. Of course, having nice and pretty landscapes is nice, but if the gameplay can't hold up to it, then we have only half a game here. And luckily, that certainly isn't the case. One of my major complaints about about the original Castlevania games is how slow, and at some points clunky, the movement was. However, in Symphony of the Night, the movement, while a bit slow, does flow extremely well, and Alucard's sword swipes feels quick and responsive.
Oh yeah, that's a key difference. In this game, instead of just using a whip, Alucard can have a variety of weapons and he can equip. This also includes shields as well, or two swords. Dual wield for the win!
Another key difference is the RPG elements within this game. Alucard can level up and gain new stat bonuses, and I get why people will be kind of turned off by this, but like, come on, it's me. RPG elements is what I eat for breakfast. Also, there's this cool trick that you can do where if you press the dash button and the shield button one right after the other, Alucard can do this, and I never stop doing this, and no one will ever stop me from doing this. Now, I should mention this is a game where the genre Metroidvania had spawned from, essentially meaning that Castlevania is meeting up with the exploration and backtracking of the Metroid series. And yeah, this is essentially what if Metroid met Castlevania.
This style gets a little ridiculous in later games. Looking at you, Lords of Shadow! But it works well here.
There's a map where you can track your progress, save rooms that are sprinkled around all throughout the castle's interior, power-ups can be found by discovering secret rooms. I mean, yeah, this is Metroid gameplay, that's no doubt. But it still has its own vibe, which I think helps separates the two series. And since I have no real segue into this, the music of this game is, it is so goddamn beautiful. Each track in this game's soundtrack is divine and has a different genre which reflects the locations within the game. Each varied in their own musical style, and yet still fit the world of Castlevania. I always find myself listening to the soundtrack whenever I'm editing or writing a script, and I have yet to grow tired of it.
I suppose the last thing we'll talk about is the different transformations you can obtain throughout the game. Much like in Castlevania 3, Alucard has different forms he can take. This includes a bat form, a wolf form, which is freaking useless but looks cool, and the form of Mist. These are used mainly for exploration of the castle as they don't really serve that much of a purpose gameplay-wise. At least not on a casual level. It's neat to have them and definitely give variety to the gameplay, and helps give the impression that Alucard is a vampire and not just a typical anime swordsman. And the fact that they can be used with a click of a button makes it not a hassle to do so. Not too bad if I do say so myself.
Well, you've done your exploring, and you've done found out that Richter does lie within the castle. Only this time he claims to be the ruler of said castle. That's right, a Belmont is now the ruler of Castlevania.
And not for the last time either. Still looking at you, Lords of Shadow!
Well, moving upwards and onwards through the castle, we reach Richter's throne, and after some dialogue about blah, blah, power, and Castlevania, the final battle commences, and I gotta be real, Richter is a tough final boss. He moves pretty quickly with his flurries of moves, and can catch anyone off guard. I mean, we played as him in the beginning, so we see what he can do, but if you're quick enough and you land a couple of blows, Richter goes down, and so does the dreaded Castlevania alongside with him, and yeah. That is the end of the game. Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen, totally. Yeah, that's definitely the ending.
Unless, of course, you decide to explore the castle to find Alucard's mother's final memories, and of course there are two specific types of rings in the clock tower to unveil a secret room which somehow Maria ended up in. Fight her, and get these magic glasses that actually show that the spirit that's controlling Richter this whole time, who is a fucking priest named Shaft! And what does this all amount to? Well, Drax is coming back, and now you get to do the whole castle again, but this time it's upside down! Yay! You did it.
In all seriousness though, this is actually pretty freaking sweet. See, the idea of the game of rewarding the player for being a bit more curious or explorative is rewarding, especially in a Metroidvania-esque game. Well, nonetheless, you beat Richter, and now you gotta do the entire castle again, except it's all upside down. And when you finally do that, the final battle takes place at the center of the castle, aka the Clockwork Room. You take down the Dark Priest Shaft, and the resurrection of Dracula is nigh. Now look, I'm not gonna lie, the final fight is downright impossible at times. I mean, his attacks are really powerful, and he can knock you down faster than you can say, and it's over. Alright, Dracula is finished, and as per Castlevania endings, the castle crumbles to the ground, and each character takes off on their own paths.
Richter heads back home, Alucard goes off somewhere, and Maria follows Alucard because of, I don't know, reasons. Look, it's a Castlevania game, okay? There isn't too much that you'd want in an old school game like this. I don't hear anyone praising the Symphony of the Night because of its amazing story. It's more about the explorative castle with its amazing soundtrack and atmosphere.
It's a game that rewards those who choose to really explore what the castle has to offer, and God, I wish we had more games like it. Symphony of the Night is one of my favorite video games of all time. I play it pretty much every year, and every time I do, I never get bored. The settings are amazing, and as mentioned before, the soundtrack is one of the best out there. Definitely the best Castlevania soundtrack out there in my opinion. I'm stating that for the record. If for whatever reason you haven't played this game yet, or you've been avoiding it because it's a Metroid clone, I urge you to play it anyways. I say it even does things a little bit better than Metroid at times, but that'll be for another day. It's a classic in my eyes, and I hope it'll soon be one in yours. Well, before I end this video here, I'd like to give a huge thanks to my pal Merrick for joining me in today's video. We've been planning on doing something for quite some time, and I think we kinda chose the best game to do it on. Anything you want to tell the people before heading off, bud?
Firstly, it's always a pleasure working with you, man. Secondly, I'd appreciate if you'd all head over to Narwhal Entertainment, that's my channel, and check out my Halloween content this year. We've had Zombie Month on Mindbreakers, where we look at 4 classic George A. Romero pictures. We got Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and Land of the Dead, and also some special Let's Plays, including Land of the Dead, played with Geo, From Dusk Till Dawn, played with Nelson, The Ring, Terror's Realm, which I played on my own, and Evil Dead, Hail to the King, which I played with my good friend Minimatt over here. Well, happy Halloween, yo!
Be sure to go check out his channel, guys. I actually appear on there quite a bit. Not as much as the other guys, but I still make appearances here and there. It's a lot of fun. We just play video games and rip off movies. Go check it out. Go give him some love. And of course, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video for quite a special one. The certain anniversary is coming up, and I think I know how to celebrate it.